You know, I before we talk about it, and yeah, hi, new review. It's been a while, but hearing a Living Tombstone song in a technically a mid or low to mid budget movie, um, I believe it's not high budget. I think it's mid budget at best. I don't know. I think 20 million is mid budget, but hearing it. But either way, regardless, hearing a Living Tombstone song in a movie that was played on the big screen in theaters is just honestly something I thought would never happen at all. Like I feel like that's twice we had songs from the internet be played in a theatrical film. Like the meme version of What's Up from the He-Man video that was a meme on the internet for so long, finally being a movie, and it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one was like surprising. And now this. We got Living Tombstone's Five Nights at Freddy's song. Uh in the end credits. And that's honestly awesome. I think that's cool. Regardless how good the movie is or how bad the movie is, it still is cool to hear Living Tombstone's song in a big theatrical film. That is I never thought that would have happened. I was like thinking it better not be a generic like movie soundtrack song, but no, it's Living Tombstone. So if this movie makes its money back and it's very highly successful, um, then obviously the second movie's got to have It's Been So Long, or as everyone calls it, The Man Behind the Slaughter. That needs to be the next one because I think that's the song for the second game, if I remember correctly. But anyway, salutations everyone. I'm Niru, and Halloween Horror Month is still upon us. I have not done anything Halloween related. I have not posted any videos. I know I have been slacking these past few weeks or this entire mid year, and now we're at the tail end of the year where I finally am trying to post something. But hey, that's typical of me when it comes to making content. Um, but this time I'm gonna make sure this one gets uploaded tomorrow on Saturday. Hey, so I just saw Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie. Is it really 5 nights? I've counted. I've counted. It's 5 nights. um, and this was a movie that everyone was talking about. It's gonna be 3 hours long. It's gonna have everything in it. It's gonna go and explain every single plot detail from the lore. For everyone, so let's be clear here. Scott Cawthorn or Cathon, or I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but I'm just gonna call him Scott. Scott, he was one of the writers for the script and story of the movie. See, kind of like how Ronald Dahl was the script writer for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie starring Gene Wilder, but some of his ideas got cut. But this is a movie starring Josh Hutcherson as the security guard Mike, and also starring freaking Matthew Lillard, who is the man behind the slaughter, which this would be considered a spoiler, but we already knew that Matt Matt Lillard was going to be freaking William Afton. We already knew it because it was already talked about when production started. It already was said when they were going to film the movie. They were casting Matthew Lillard as William Afton, and they already said it, but yet this movie was trying to be like, oh, but you don't know it. We made him go by a different name in this, and he's definitely not Afton. He's definitely not Afton. A lot of predictions for the movie on characters. I kind of try to guess. When I saw like the blonde police officer in the movie, I immediately thought, "Is that Vanessa?" And sure as shit, I was right. It was Vanessa. And what else were my theories about this? Yes, I thought this taxi scene in the end of the first trailer with Corey Kenshin, I thought that was going to be the last shot in the movie. I was wrong. That's in the third act, the start of the third act. And I kind of was, indifferent on a few things about the movie. Let me go into the positives. I did like this film. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not the biggest Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I was honestly the one teen because I think I was a teenager when Five Nights at Freddy's was out, and this was like, a fandom that's mainly just kids that like this game, and nothing wrong with that, but it kind of gets annoying. You hear the kids doing the Freddy thing, which he doesn't do in the movie. Sorry, but Foxy does the scream though. Foxy does do the scream from the game, so that's a plus. And Foxy does jump at you. Not interestingly when you see their hands sticking out and grabbing you. It was more like let's move this animatronic forward while it's screaming to kill this one guy. But it's still cool though. Oh, it's still cool though. In the movie, I did like that. I mainly like the animatronics. The animatronics are amazing. I think that they got the best company to make them, which is the Jim Henson Company. They have a lot of great expressions and emotions that they have with their like facial movements. I did like that, like the facial expressions, the eyes, the mouth, the eyebrows, the reactions in each shot that you see them. When you see like Freddy angry or any of the animatronics angry in this movie, see them being menacing, but also see them being playful and nice and happy is also like an interesting thing. Seeing all these different emotions come out of these animatronics, which I loved. Like, they really did a good job making them both innocent looking, but also menacing as well. I did love that about the animatronics and the movements. I was very impressed with how they moved or walk and move in the film. Like, I like all the movements. It just felt like the game come to life, but like if it was more kind of higher budgeted in somewhat. But I think my favorite shots are mainly Foxy, which I think Foxy kind of steals the film a lot of the time in this. Foxy has like the best like kind of like introduction in each shot, like best like uh how I say it, like best like scenes where he just appears behind the curtain. Like you see the ghost children version of Foxy, and then after that, as soon as he like goes into the ghost goes into the darkness, the animatronic appears and it peeks out of the curtain. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I like that. Just seeing him walking around menacingly, trying to chase after one kid in the movie, and then he's like in the arcade and he's creeping towards her. It's like very tense and very like scary at the same time. I mean, I wasn't scared honestly, but I thought it was really good of a shot of it. And there was a movie I saw during the pandemic, Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage, and as much as I did like that movie, and it had kind of more of a Five Nights at Freddy's feel to it, the Willy's Wonderland like animatronics just looked lame. Like not like design wise, they looked nice, but the way they moved, it just felt like it was just people in suits. Like, oh, they're wearing a suit. But you can't blame that. The movie was just low budget as all hell, so you can't blame them for you know, trying. But this one, I mean, of course, because you got the Jim Henson Company working on them, of course they're gonna give you 110% of giving them good puppetry, good animatronics. Even if it's a bad movie like the Happy Time Murders, then they're still gonna give it their all, even if it's for one stupid sex joke. I did like Josh Hutcherson's character Mike and his relationship with his sister, with his little sister in the movie. I did believe in the relationship they had with each other. Like it felt very distant, but yet you know they are close. In a way, because you see like, you know, the photos and the pictures and drawings she has, but you know, the movie kind of like tries to exposition that shit in your face like you didn't get it. Like we honestly got it. Like we already figured it out. We weren't stupid. We knew what who she was drawing in those photos with her. Like we honestly knew already, but they had to like think like, well, no one's gonna have a high brain to a big brain to figure that out, so let's just feed it to them, which I don't like, but you know, at least it wasn't very exposition-y. At least they show, not tell, with the backstory of like how John, like Mike's what's going on in Mike's life and what he wants. You kind of know what he wants, like him trying to go back to the time period where his brother was still alive, him like not letting go of the past. We already got it through visuals we got from the movie, and I'm glad that they didn't try to over explain it. They just were like, we'll explain it to you in the later half of the movie. We're not going to go and exposition it to you as all hell in the first 20 minutes, which I am happy for. But yeah, I do like it. I did like the relationship between him and his sister. I did like the connection they had. I did like you see him desperate to do anything to take care of her because he knows that the person that's trying to get her is not doing it because she cares, but she just wants it for money. And you see him desperate, on his feet, wanting to do anything to put money on the table and help provide for her, which I am very I did like that kind of little backstory with humanizing this character, which became just a faceless character in like the games. Again, not a fan of the game, so I don't know much about the security guard from the games. So I am just saying what I think was pretty nice to actually give a bit of a backstory for the main protagonist. Yes. With all that said, Josh Hutcherson's acting goes in and out sometimes. Like sometimes he's good with the whole like dramatic stuff with his sister and also him being desperate and him missing his brother and him beating the shit out of a dude because it made him think about the man who kidnapped his brother. Like all those were good. But when it comes to him doing scenes of him yelling and looking like he's scared or panicked or he's like rushing to save his sister, it kind of seems like he's slumming it. Like all the drama parts, it felt like Josh Hutcherson was like thinking like, I'm going to do a nice dramatic performance that probably will get me an Academy Award. And then once the whole actual Five Nights at Freddy's part comes in, when he sees the animatronics, he just has this look of like he just realized what movie he signed up for. Like it was his first time seeing the animatronics come to life, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm in this type of movie. Like that's what it felt like. It looked like he was just realizing, I'm not supposed to take this seriously, am I? It is a slow burn of a film that's also kind of a bit of its flaws as well, that when it takes a long time to get to the whole Five Nights at Freddy's part. By the way, the power doesn't go down in this movie. I mean, it goes down manually, but there's not much of a power problem like there is in the game. There is no door to close to help like get the animatronics to come after you. There is no guy on a tape recorder going, hello, hello, hello. It's more like a training video with a woman saying, hey, welcome to Freddy Fazbear's. And then it does the whole video thing like in the first game where when it cuts to the animatronics, it starts to glitch out and everything. I was like, okay, that's cool. Nice reference there. There. And it does feel like the game during the whole beginning half of the movie, which the beginning and third act, I'll get to the second act later about why it takes a turn where I'm like, what the fuck? The first and third act did felt like the game a lot with him, you know, on the security room, like looking around and everything, but he falls asleep a lot. And he's more looking at the kids more than he's looking at the actual animatronics that the kids are in a lot of the time. It's more of him going back in his dreams, seeing like these children, the ghost children that died, and that's it. It's mainly the first two nights are just him dreaming about the ghost children. Well, first 3 nights. Let's be more specific. The first 3 nights, then the 5th night of the movie are just him dreaming about them, and it's less about the animatronics and him seeing them on the camera moving, which we don't get to see that much. We only get to see the animatronics moving and making like the glances, the creepy like side eye kind of thing when these people break into the place, when they break into the establishment, to the pizzeria, and try to trash the place. And you see, that's when you see like the whole like them in the camera looking creepy and like looking menacing, like, well, we're gonna kill you, we're gonna get you. And it was cool. When the movie gets going, it gets going with the whole animatronics killing everybody bit. We got to see Freddy bite someone in half, which I thought was awesome. I thought that was the best kill in the movie. I'm pretty sure the one with Max getting chopped in half by Freddy, definitely golden chainsaw material. I think that's the best one out of all the kills in the movie. There, when I think I loved when the cupcake starts to like bite people and gnaw on people's faces. I thought that was I thought that was funny because I've never seen it do that. If it has done that before in the game, I didn't know. But seeing like Chica have the cupcake and like, okay, go into the vents and gnaw his face off. I never seen that before, but it is pretty hilarious, but also terrifying if that ever happened in real life. I thought that was good. Good. And then we get to the second act of the movie, which I hated. I thought it was out of left field. Like, what the fuck? The second act of the movie, when he has to bring his daughter in because the babysitter got killed. And by the way, the babysitter is working for the aunt that wants her niece. They have a plan and they're in the dinner table trying to sort out their plan. I only mention this because Matt Pat has a cameo in the movie. And yes, he says a theory or game theory, basically. I was gonna get disappointed if they never showed Matt Pat, but it's like there were two things that either should have happened in the movie. I had a checklist of what I wanted in the movie, and Markiplier wasn't in it. That's sad, but hey, maybe he'll be in the second film if there ever is one. But I had two ones that I was glad that made it in the checklist. Matt Pat and a Living Tombstone song of Five Nights at Freddy's. And I got Living Tombstone, which was great. I'm glad for that. And the second act of the movie, I want to say this. So Josh Hutcherson has to bring his sister to the pizzeria. He had to bring her to Freddy's. And then she meets them and they become friends with the animatronics. I was sitting there and I was like thinking, okay. And then when the fourth night came, it becomes a kid's movie. I mean it. There's the pop song in the background. They're building a fort together. They're having fun. They're acting like they're friends. And Bonnie has a pratfall at the end after building the fort. I was like sitting there thinking, what happened? I kept thinking to myself, like, is this the reason why those guys fight in the movie theater? They got so mad at one part of the film, and they're like, this feels like for kids," and they just start beating the shit out of each other because they had a disagreement. I feel so bad for the I don't know. Yeah, did anyone hear about that? The guys that the whole bunch of dudes like having like a fucking world star hip hop fight in, in the movie theater that played Five Nights at Freddy's. Like credits were rolling, Living Tombstone playing in the background, dudes like up with their camera yelling "World Star," beating the shit out of each other. I really want to know what happened. Like, there has to be a reason why that fight broke out. And I just kept thinking it's because of that one scene where everything starts to turn into a PG movie about ghost children, and it's just wholesome. I just thought it was so stupid, and I was like, this is the movie that got a PG-13 rating, huh? And, less becomes wholesome when you finally see, like, okay, ghost children are now going to kill the sister now. And it gets to the great stuff in the movie, which is the animatronics fighting Josh Hutcherson. And then Josh Hutcherson finally getting to the reveal of William Afton and Matthew Lillard. I love the man. I love this man. He is a great actor. He does deserve a lot more roles than just being Shaggy. But hey, him being Shaggy has made him eat good. It made him eat well and put food on that table. I bet it was a dream still that Warner Brothers said, hey, we loved you so much as Shaggy in the live action Scooby-Doo movies that we want you to be also the voice of him in the cartoon movies right now. And hey, I think man is eating good, especially Freddie Prinze Jr. because he's part of Star Wars as well. He does great. I think he does good with his performance. He hams it up, which, at that point, it's like, I don't care. I'm glad he's hamming it up, kind of giving me vibes from his Scream days in a similar sense, including him with the kitchen knife just looking menacing. I thought he looked cool. He was amazing. I did like him. I don't know if fans liked him because I'm not well versed in Freddy lore as people. I am more the person that got into the memes of Five Nights at Freddy's that were basically bits and pieces of references of the lore of the game. I mean, I did watch an hour or 2 hour long video of Five Nights at Freddy's lore explained one night to help me fall asleep, but then I got so invested in it. I remember watching a video, because I didn't know how long it was. I was like, oh, I thought it said 30 minutes, but it actually says an hour and 30 minutes, I think. I was like, yeah, I got time. It's 10 o'clock. Why not? And then I just realized it was an hour longer. But yeah, the movie kind of ends very quick, which, as much as it's a slow burn at the beginning, which I don't have a problem with slow burns at times, most of the best movies have slow burn beginnings. Like Mandy had a very big slow burn until it really got going with Nicolas Cage murdering a bunch of dudes. Um, Here, it's like it is a slow burn on the first two nights until it finally gets going with kills, and then starts to take a turn that I kind of didn't like. Then goes back to being the horror movie that I wanted, but then immediately the movie ends like rushed. Like it felt very kind of rushed in a way to me. I don't know. It just felt like maybe there were scenes cut out. Maybe there was more to the movie that probably was going to be a 2-hour film. And maybe the minutes that were cut short, like probably the few minutes that got cut short, were probably stuff that was the game, maybe. But I guess, you know, you got to hit that hour and a half mark, that sweet spot, you know, to at least get more money and to at least bring in more people in the theater. So maybe that was their intention to do that. Cut it down. Maybe there were more stuff. If there is an extended cut of this movie, I would love to see that. I don't know. It doesn't need to be a stupid unrated cut like Megan was. Megan was an unrated cut that had like they clearly just put digital blood, like fake CGI blood on people to make kills look gorier, even though their original intention was this is just a PG-13 movie. We're not trying to be gory. I want to see an extended cut that's more focused on expanding, like more of a scary atmospheric feel for the nights that Mike is in, and kind of for story lore in a way. Who knows? There's a lot of things to like about this movie, but there's also a lot of things to not like about this movie that make it a bit like, you know, meh. But the movie to me, it's not meh, it's just okay. Like meh for me is like it's nothing to write home about. It's like it's probably a movie I'm gonna forget in like a couple of days. I say this is a movie I'm like it has the potential of being great, but if I don't know if it was the budget that made the animatronics less, you know, you'd see the animatronics less in the movie because of the budget and because it probably was a bitch to probably, you know, help maintain those suits, and maybe for the people that are walking in those suits, it was hard for them to walk in. So maybe, you know, that's why the budget was like little to have them in there and actually move. Kind of like with Goro with Mortal Kombat, where they were planning to do more with the character, but the suit was the problem that had it to be, you know, not well. So maybe we'll get more of the suits in the second movie. Fingers crossed on that. More scares, more horror elements to it. It does feel more drama heavy than horror heavy. At times, the horror aspect happens in little bits and pieces, but it is more drama focused. And I have no problem with the drama. I think it was pretty standard, decent drama. You know, I think it wasn't terrible drama. It's not like forced drama, unless it's Josh Hutcherson having those scenes where he's like forcing emotion, where I'm like, what are you doing? Again, his acting goes in and out. It sometimes becomes good and sometimes it just becomes shit. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. No, it's that's how I feel. Um, and I did like the set. I did like the set costume designs, the animatronics, and the look, the feel, the music. I did like that about the movie a lot. But a lot of things could be different. A lot of things could have been better. Maybe more uh things to get the ball rolling. Like they did go in the right direction of what they wanted to do. Like you see what they wanted to do. Like on script, it sounds great. The execution of it is hit and miss sometimes. But this is the first probably script or screenplay for a movie that Scott has done. Maybe he's learning from it. Maybe he's figuring it out. He's rolling with the punches. He's just learning as he goes with this. But it is a attempt that wasn't a failure. It was a good. I had fun. I enjoyed it. I think it was serviceable. It was nice. Nice. I'm pretty sure maybe fans will like the movie enough. I think they would have it. I mean, it's got an 86% audience score and the 26% critic score as well. So that means critics hated it, but never played the game. People who played the game, they liked it fine. So that means, who the fuck are you going to listen to? Some critics that never played the game before and they're just being jackasses about it, or fans who know the lore, the characters, and everything about the game, loyal fans to Scott who actually care and enjoy the movie. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious who you want to listen to, and that's the audience. Some YouTubers, I never saw the reviews yet. A few of them I've seen. Their thumbnails are like looking like they didn't like it. They have looks of like, eh. Jacksepticeye tweeted he saw the FNAF movie and he said he didn't like it. Already, it's like, yikes. And I never saw the reviews yet. I wanted to see this movie on my own as a moviegoer, as a lover of cinema. I just went in and expect what I wanted to expect. Like, my expectations weren't high for this movie. They were kind of in a middle point. In a way, I was turned off by the fact it was PG-13. And I was turned off by the fact that the movie was probably going to be a bit short and it would probably feel like a rush product. It kind of was, but not. So that's kind of 50-50 I'm okay with on that. I had a lot of fun with it. I just think that, maybe things needed to be expanded more. Or the kids stuff, like the lore, kind of like a bit glossed over because we were more focused on Josh Hutcherson's backstory, but it did came along like that backstory was a part of the lore in some way. And yeah, I thought it was pretty decent of a movie. I give this movie probably a 7 out of 10. Yeah, perfect 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.8. Like, I'm still digesting it. I might have a conversation of this with Mia on maybe a stream about the movie when she when she's ready to. Who knows? We might do it. I don't know. I'm just saying my thoughts right now that the movie was fine, I just had a excellent time with it. It has flaws, yes, but hopefully, if movie does well in the theater and actually surpasses its budget with its box office records, then there's a lot of time for improvement when making the sequel. So yeah, don't know what they're gonna do with that sequel. I don't know if they're gonna bring back Hutcherson. I feel like his story is wrapped up already, so I don't feel like you should bring him back. I don't know. Unless you have a reason to. But yeah, I think his story is a bit wrapped up already. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, darlings, and remember, you are loved.